So revised site plan and landscape plan shall be submitted to the Department of Community Development Planning Division prior to the issuance of a building permit to reflect the following. A, the easternmost driveway on Hickam Avenue being removed and replaced with a continuation of the proposed landscape buffer. And then B, the 18 easternmost parking stalls along the northern property line adjacent to APNs 138-06-701-019 and 020 are to be incorporated into the landscape buffer for additional width. Thank you.
I don't have a problem with that, but that wasn't discussed.
The
elimination of parking.
I mentioned that in my presentation.
Oh,
it was one of the points that came up in the meeting with Mr. Taylor
and your client
some of his clients. It wasn't quite that. They had wanted a bigger buffer all along the north boundary, so I want to be clear and represent what they had been asking for. But so much of the property is across from school district property.
Yes.
So we concentrated on the two homes that are existing and that are immediately to the north, and removing, which is the reflection of the 18 parking spaces, and then increasing that landscape buffer as something to further protect those two homes.
Okay. If you are okay with it, I'm okay with it. The neighbors are okay with it. Mr. Lowenstein read it. My motion's on the floor, Madam Mayor.
I'm sorry. Hold on one second.
Councilwoman, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, please.
So
wait for Ms. Lazarus.
Yeah, and I want to make sure, Ms. Lazarus, you're here as well. So as I understand it right now, as the project is proposed, the applicant has the ability to have their temple lights on. You are going to request that this council
yes
look at an ordinance later on that would have an impact on them as well.
Correct. After talking to legal, it would be imperative that we did this before building permits were pulled. So in the coming months, there's no direct pressure, but before the end of the year, maybe.
Okay.
I'm willing to entertain input.
I think I am understanding. I do want to ask Mr. Lowenstein, just as he read one of the conditions, I want to be clear about one thing. As it relates to the dark skies ordinance, we're happy, obviously we'll participate in that process as well, and we know it applies out to this area, and as long as it's not just targeted at the temple and it applies to other non-residential buildings, then we will be working with the city on that. But we wouldn't accept an ordinance that just directed solely at the temple. And then my other question was for Mr. Lowenstein. Could you read on the 18 parking spaces, could you just read that condition one more time?
So that was subsection B of that condition, of that added condition. It says the 18 easternmost parking stalls along the northern property line adjacent to APNs 138-06-701-019 and 020 are to be incorporated into the landscape buffer for additional width.
That's fine. That's fine. We have excessive landscape widths around the site, so we will likely be just moving those parking spaces to somewhere away from the residential that still complies completely with landscape buffer widths and things like that. So we wanted to make sure we could have that flexibility to capture those 18 spots somewhere else. We do, I believe the question, although I walked away for a minute, but we would agree with the additional conditions that have been read into the record.
And Councilwoman, we have a question here, and both directed to you and Council. Ms. Lasovich, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, my question is more from a legal standpoint. The way it sits now, and I understand what the Councilwoman is looking to do about creating a light ordinance that will apply to every business, residential in the circumference of the rural area. My question is that the way that the item that is presented to us now, today, does not have a condition regarding lighting. So if we approve this, they will leave here, and I'm not saying wrong or right, either way, they will leave here with the item, with them being able to have the lighting on as they present it. Okay? Now, if at a later date this council decides to pass an ordinance that has a lighting ordinance associated with it for that area, will this particular item be grandfathered in from that, or would it have to be retro, or will it be retro to today, right? Because you can't, it seems as though you would have to go back in any entity between now and when that ordinance is passed. They would be in compliance with the laws that were passed as of today. If you go back, we would have to either make it retroactive to today, or they would be in compliance to have their lighting established how they want it now, 24 hours a day or between hours or whatever, correct?
So, Councilman Seth Floyd, for the record, I think I'll let Jeff take the ordinance application part, but I just wanted to clarify on the lighting. SDR condition number 2, there is a condition that was added on parking lot lighting, not allowing that to be illuminated from 11 to 5 a.m. So I just want to clarify, we're talking about
but the lighting of the actual steeple, the actual church itself,
I'll defer to
there is
to Jeff
nothing
on
that states any stipulations or conditions whatsoever on that.
That's correct. There are no conditions on that.
So I just want to make sure that, Councilwoman, that you are on the page of where you want it to be, so that we can all have a just good understanding. Everybody else has understanding. But the way it is now, if we approve it, they can have those lights on whenever they want to. On the building.
Correct.
24 hours a day, between hours or whatever. Just FYI.
Correct. Can I get your commitment to vote for the dark sky ordinance right now?
Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney, through you, Mayor, to Councilman Creer. Yes, I was going to say your summary, as Seth pointed out, of the lighting is correct, and Seth added the point about the parking lighting already is a condition built in from Planning Commission. With respect to your second point, the intent Councilwoman Polensky gave to our office was that this project would not be grandfathered into any new ordinance. Therefore, the new ordinance will be drafted in a way to capture this project, and likely that would require a statement in it regarding projects that haven't had the building permits pooled yet, or some other objective criteria that we will be able to grab them and any other similar lighting situation on non-residential in the area that will be affected by the draft ordinance.
So the building, just to reiterate, the building up until the point the ordinance is presented and passed by council, if it were built tomorrow, would have the building, not the rest of the lighting that is on the timeline, the building that you said would be lit 24/7, could remain lit.
Correct. That's a correct summation, yes.
Fine. Okay.
But I'm still kind of unclear of if we do an ordinance, whenever, six weeks from now, how do you say to this organization, this now applies to you? Or can you? I mean, I guess, we passed a microchipping for pets that's going to go into effect next month. It's for new pets that you purchased then. You don't go back and say we didn't say all dogs and cats need to be microchipped, and every dog that hasn't is going to get fined. You have to go back. It's all moving forward. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because the way it seems to me now is that when they leave here today, if this is approved, they can do whatever they want to. And I'm not sure how you can single them out in terms of making
exactly
the other
what
ordinance.
Ms. Lasevich said, as a comprehensive ordinance passed for the dark night. That's why it has been presented that it would be for everyone, which includes the temple.
Okay.
It's not that unless in the discussion you came forward and said we're not able to do that.
Yes, having that ordinance, that proposed ordinance be broad and not just apply to the temple is critical to, the temple understanding the, I believe, intent. I've heard what the councilwoman is saying today for this area, this rural area, which does have the ability to have additional non-residential buildings. There's school sites planned on 3 sides of us, up to the school district on when they would build that, and probably other things that may occur. But that ordinance would need to capture more than just the temple for the church to be comfortable.
So then, City Attorney Dorkich, I just want to make sure that if this passes today, then the ordinance that will be passed at a future date will apply to them. And we won't have to claw them back in order to do that.
Which is what they seem to have agreed upon, as long as they totally understand that this might be coming within time, and therefore for the entire area, including the temple, there will be dark, and the temple building from the second level up will not be lit.
Jeff Dorkeg, City Attorney, to Councilman Kerr. Yes, the main point, as you indicated, similarly to the microchipping bill, is we have to put language in there that specifically will grab a project like this if approved today, and that's what we will do.
Okay, thank you.
And they've agreed to it. You have to vote.
Madam Mayor, I've been informed by legal that I need to revise my motion.
Oh, okay.
Both.
Well, let's unvote us then and get a revision.
There has to be two votes, two separate item numbers.
Right.
Okay, I misspoke. In conjunction with the Planning Commission recommendation and consistent with staff recommendations of approval, I move to approve item number 63 with the aforementioned conditions.
And is that 63 and 63A and B as well,
Yes.
and not 64?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mayor, just to be, Seth Floyd for the record, just to be clear, those conditions that were added are actually on 64. So 63 would
that's
just
why.
be the staff conditions, and then 64
Okay.
will have the added conditions.
Right, so now the next, go. There, it passes. Go ahead, next one.
In conjunction with the Planning Commission recommendation and consistent with staff recommendation of approval, I move to approve item number 64 with the aforementioned conditions by Mr. Floyd.
And those motions pass. Thank you. Thank you all. Yes. And thank you very, very much. I think we have a couple of more tidying up things to do, but again, to thank you all, the sensitivity. I want you to do me a favor, though. Tomorrow is the birthday of the gentleman sitting to my left, and I'd like you all to wish happy birthday to Councilman Cedric Beer. Love to leave happy.
My mayor.
So,
look at her.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And please note, we did this after the vote.
Thank you all. It's beautiful. And now we'll move on to item, 67? We have a second, no. What number? Which one?
68.
68. We're setting the date. We're going to continue on while you leave, so please softly, it's wonderful. I instruct the city clerk, please, to set the public hearing dates and appeals for city planning commissions and dangerous building abatements. Please, everyone, do it quietly. We have to finish this, and we have another public comment time. Any of you who are brave enough to stay for more.
Thank you, Mayor.
God bless you all. We're set. All right, so now we go on to agenda item 69, which is our final public hearing participation. During this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the City Council. No subject may be acted upon by the Council unless the subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject is well amount of time, and any single speakers allowed may be limited. It's your opportunity to address the council, but council will not respond in dialogue. Anyone wanting to come forward, please do so.
This is Gary's last meeting, too.
Yes, we're going to say that. We are going to move on to emerging issues. Council, do you have an emerging issue? Anybody here? No emerging, any emerging issue? No. Okay, wait, don't you dare go. And so we have agreed amongst us, in great applause to Gary Aimling, if you would stand, his last meeting, to thank our CFO, our finance man, Wish you everything wonderful. And since there are no other points, everybody's agreed. This meeting stands adjourned. Have a good day, and thank you all. No public. Too late. I'm so sorry. Just, we were moving. Been a long day. Staff, thank you very much. Beautifully done, everybody. Okay.
Nice job. You did a very good